Thanks for staying with us. Today on the show, we are going to be discussing the challenge with trafficking. So we, of course, have a guest with us who would give us more information, but we're talking about this based on the fact that 231 Nigerians were rescued from Ghana. This was a major rescue operation that happened from human traffickers. We would explore how this affects we have someone that will be talking to us from NAPTIP. There were partners from NAPTIP and other commission like First Bank and the First Lady who made the repatriation possible. But to join the conversation and make it even more robust, we have someone on Zoom who would be sharing more details to us. Is the board chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, Ghana. His name is Callistus Eloziewa. Welcome to the show. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to you and to your listeners.
All right. We can also have you join our conversation by calling us on 020-1635-2013. The number is right on your screen, or you could tweet to us via X. The story broke, and the story was that human trafficking has taken away a lot of people from Nigeria. We've discussed this several years, but there was a joint partnership that repatriated and reunited a few Nigerians, 231 to be precise, and we'd like to hear your opinion. What was your involvement in this move to bring these people back to Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you so much. We've always been engaged before this time. We share information with the NAPTIC. Was commend NAPTIC for what they are doing silently. Whenever they have any information, they call on the embassy and also reach out to see how we can be able to rescue our citizens. This particular incident is an incident that happened sometime last year when a Nigerian was brought into this place for cybercrime. Unfortunately, they put him into what was not actually what he wanted to do. So he tried to escape and they poured acid on him. So when we got the information, I have the pictures, I will send it to you. Wow. We also did what we are supposed to do by informing the law enforcement agents. And YOCO, as an organization, they work differently from the way police work in Ghana. What they did was to lay their surveillance and started investigating that particular matter and the entire estate in general. That was when it now was done that it's not even only that particular person. The day they were going for that operation, we were only expecting to get about 64 victims. But when they finished their investigation, they found out that about 21 houses within the estate were occupied by 21 houses within the estate. And each house is about 4 to 5 bedroom houses and 3 bedroom houses. We are housing Nigerians that some of them have never seen the light since over 6 months, 7 months.
Wow.
And they have no option. So they now decided that we have to have a joint operation to be able to rescue them. So that's all about intelligence. And fortunately, that very day, they embarked on the operation. After they were rescued and brought to YOCO, they called me very early. And what I did was to contact the acting Nigerian ambassador immediately. And he asked me to come over for us to go to YOCO office to show them that Nigerians care for them. So we went there. By the grace of God, we were able to have a clear understanding that all of them be treated as victims first until investigations are done for us to separate the victims from the suspects. So that was what was actually done. So while they were there, hello, should I proceed?
Yes, please continue. We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, while they were there, we were visiting them morning and afternoon and evening, and we make sure that we kept some Nigerians there to make sure they are not treated like criminals. Fortunately for us, the embassy also assigned 2 officers from the embassy who were with us in all this exercise. Some of them were sick. Some of them, their leg was hit with iron rods. and they had a broken leg. Yes. Some of them were malnourished. They were having eye problems. So we stopped medical help through the Yoko immediately to see what can be done for those ones that first aid while we bring them back to Nigeria. So that was actually what happened. And there, fortunately for us, because we're having AU meeting, the Minister of Foreign Affairs for State, Bianca Ojukwu, was in town. So she visited the Yoko office with His Excellency. Then I was not around then. I was working on how we get feeding for our citizens. So when she came out, we had personal meeting at one of the hotels where they were having the program. So after that, the issue becomes, how do we repatriate them back? And that is the issue that is still holding some of our people behind here. When they are rescued, how do we repatriate them back? Unfortunately, the embassy is not having money. I must say it in a national program like this. The embassies are not properly funded for such programs. So when such cases happen, it becomes a very big problem for our embassy because it's not part of their budget. So what I did was to call on NITCOM immediately, Adike Dabiri. So when I called her, she says she'll get back to me in some few minutes, that these children must not stay there, and the image of our country is at stake, that we must do everything to make sure that we move them back to Nigeria immediately. That we should try and make sure that the press does not make mess of the news against the image of our nation. That we should try and make sure that the press does not make mess of the news against the image of our nation. That we should try and make sure that the press does not make mess of the news against the image of our nation. So that was what actually we did. We prevented some of the Ghanaian media houses to go there by the help of the Yoko people. So that was what actually we did. We prevented some of the Ghanaian media houses to go there by the help of the Yoko people. So that was what actually we did. We prevented some of the Ghanaian media houses to go there by the help of the Yoko people. And she put into action immediately and called me and said that we should negotiate for the bus that will bring them back, that she'll get the money anyhow it has to be gotten.
Wow.
To make sure that those children come back. So that was what she did. So in the next 2-3 days, because it was a holiday, she said she wants to be in Nigeria, in Lagos to receive them, because they have to be fed, because we have to look at the ones that have emergency. We have to look at how to repatriate them back to their state. We have to also look at how to hand over the victims and the suspects for onward prosecution by the agency, NAPTIC. Of course, Madam Comfort has been a wonderful woman by the grace of God, that God has used to touch almost all the people who were brought back from
Sir, we would like to
ask. Yes.
Yes, we would like to ask a few questions
Sir,
specifically.
Yeah, I don't know if I missed it, but these children and these people, how did they get there first of all? Were they trafficked from Nigeria to Ghana? Were they already living in Ghana? What were they being used for? Are they trafficked for sex? You know?
98% of them, as I can give account based on the profiling we did, or that was done by the law enforcement agencies, which I have I'm privileged to have the details. 98% of them were trafficked from Nigeria. And I can give little details on how they were trafficked. Some of them were told that there are mining sites in Ghana. Some of them were told there are companies in Ghana that mining sites that pays a lot of money per day. Some of them were told there are companies that are into manufacturing of different things, that what they pay in Ghana, let me give you just a little example. If you are paid 3,000 Ghana cedis in Ghana, is equivalent of about 300,000 a month. So if you are just a factory worker and you're promised that you'll be paid 3,000 Ghana cedis, that you are going to be given housing, that feeding will be part of it. And what you'll be doing is to work at the Galamsey site or one of those factories. It becomes so juicy that when they look at what they are doing in Nigeria, maybe where they are working, they are paying them 50,000. The moment they hear that amount of money, they are motivated to go. And these people promise them they are going to pay their transportation from Ghana, from Nigeria to Ghana. Now, even if they don't have money, they are not handicapped in terms of how to move to this destination. And the cost of also what is happening within the life of our youth, they get rich quick without minding how they get to it. So that motivating factor that has now caged our youth mindset not to be productive for what is reality, for what to help them in future, but rather they just want to make money quick. So the moment these offers are made, you find that they will be enticed with it and they will move without even knowing where they are going.
Okay,
the moment they arrive in Ghana, they will take them to the house, take their phone away from them, seize them from communication, and now enslave them, and now push them to do the internet fraud and other things they do, which we don't know about.
Hello, Raj. Good afternoon. I want you to watch this video I've just sent to you about Wolo Soyinka.
The Russia of today is not the Russia that sided with African liberation. This is not the same country. This is a feudalistic, terrorist-led nation. Putin is not Gorbachev. Putin is not even Stalin, the arch criminal. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, but Ukraine is now a sovereign state. And it's populated by human beings, not animals. Russia is the aggressor. Why are we pretending? What is this sense of obligation? If we permit that, we must not complain if on the African continent a force chooses to recolonize, to re-enslave us. We cannot drop a set of chains and then, as mature people, put our necks in another bunch of chains. Liberation should be total, should be continuous, should be sustainable. There's autonomy, there should be pride in being independent people. We do not need just to tie ourselves to the bandwagon of any nation any longer. It doesn't matter what credentials.
Wolo Soyinka is a laureate in Nigeria who was given a Nobel Peace Prize some years ago. And Wolo Soyinka was the same person who brought campus cultism in Nigeria. When I say campus cultism, I say eku. I want more campus. It's say University of Legon and Tech, KNUST, and all they do is crime. I pity baby in Nigeria. Every campus, every university have campus cultism, and this laureate, who the West gave a Nobel Peace Prize, is the one that brought campus cultism to Nigeria. Watch the video I've just sent you, where he's critiquing. This was a month ago. Or criticize it. First of all, let me just explain to you when he brought this. So Wolo Soyinka was a founding member of the Pirates Confraternity, a student organization known for its unconventional approach and rebellion against the status quo on campus. Wolo Soyinka, along with 6 others, formed the group in 1952 at the University of Ibadan, later named the Magnificent Seven. The pirates aimed to distinguish themselves from dominant wealthy students and tribal affiliation. Anyway, cut long story short, that thing that he created now became campus cultism in Nigeria. And if you don't know what Nigeria campus cultism is, you can Google it and see how bad it is. Campus cultism koi for ya na fede omo so omo betray Yahoo, which is the scamming of people and Yahoo no krano. or more amame for no, which is the mothers of these stupid kids who do this Yahoo no, or mame nomatic who. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Ghana, we really have to wake up against these devils. They are cancer to Africa. Every society they go, they destroy it, just like their country is destroyed. So, Ghana, we have to be very vigilant. If our MPs and our members of parliament are not going to do anything about it amongst ourselves, we can make plans. And one day, very soon, we will rise up on the streets and make our voices heard that we don't want a peaceful nation. Globally, we are known for our peace and our humility and our grace. We have an excellent global reputation, which in a billion years Nigerians will never have. Now, will be cruel, just like you're doing in Malaysia, just like you're doing in Dubai, just like you're doing in all the European countries. Just say UK quite forget when it comes to duping banks. So I want you to understand that if a leader, a laureate, or a Nobel Peace Prize, and it's agree, was able to successfully form compass cultism, I say Nigeria patona. You know that Nigeria and papa. Their leaders are all fucked up from Chicago drug lord Tinubu to the all from Omubia. But you see, the West, pay Africa knowing that Tinubu had started a bad sheet or rap sheet in Chicago where he was a drug lord, they purposely infiltrated the Nigeria election a couple of years ago and made sure that he was selected. Nigeria election, people are not elected, they are selected by the West. Because West being UK, US, France, Germany, all the colonial masters and the slave trade nation in the US, their biggest fear is United Africa. Or their biggest fear is Africa for anybody who rises up to want to make any country in Africa better, they'll make them. As they did Sankara, as they did Olympio, as they did friends Patrice Lumumba, as they did in Nkrumah. Nkrumah, because he was associating himself with the Soviets. Now Soviet for now America for let me tell you, America for almost Russia. I live here, so I know almost Russia, big time. And Russia, I want everybody who's listening to this to Google what is the richest resource nation on planet Earth. Resources and oil, uranium, you name it. It is Russia. That is why US is so obsessed with Russia since the Cold War, since World War One. And Russia never colonized Africa. Russia never enslaved Africa. Russia never exploited Africa. Rather, no, they were pushy kwama apartheid ende. Into ono Westward, which is the US, UK, France, Germany, all those no from, and it's biblical. Just like the Roman Empire collapsed, that's the same way that these places are collapsing, especially US. Once BRICS goes into full force, if you don't know what BRICS is, please Google it. BRICS. BRICS. Google it and see what BRICS is about. Once BRICS, and when I start my YouTube page, I'll take time and explain all of this. I really like geopolitics, so I follow all these things a lot. On the nature. Now we will also yinka rush video na ma send one. He's critiquing Putin. He's critiquing Putin because omunim say oye penimu a enipa tie na asem wo Nigeria. So he's now becoming the mouthpiece of the West. Where in the video that I've just sent to you, he's saying say and I Putin say and I Putin what did Putin do? Putin. Do you know how many countries that America has invaded? Do you know how many a friend is saying civilians Americans have killed in the past 50 years? Google it and see for yourself. Putin, when did he invade any country? He invaded Ukraine because you guys were, I guess, Ghana, right? Now we're enemy in Nigeria. Now Nigeria said maybe see military base Togo. How about them? Maybe now I'm see military base about my enemy. Now I'm spy on me. No, any Togo and Kebeshi. That is what Putin did. Simple terms. Those who and really want to understand geopolitics and what the war is about, there's an excellent video on YouTube which is about almost 40 million views. Title of that video is Why Ukraine is the West's Fault. That video was done in 2015 by a professor in Chicago called Professor John Meisenheimer. Watch that video. I urge every African to watch that video because it will explain the Ukraine war to you. Don't listen to the West. Don't listen to BBC, CNN, Sky, MSNBC, ABC, Fox. You know why? Because all those media is owned by the same people. Who are the same people? Because they own YouTube. So go into your Bible, open Revelations 2:9, Revelations 3:9, read it for yourself. You know who I'm talking about. Their name starts with a J. I know Ghana first of all, ada Ghana for ni be say omi enya member. There be omi abonsam forma. Abonsam forma pa. Every war, every genocide, every terrorist group, whether it's in Afghanistan or Nigeria, ni create. Yep. Slave trade, no, transporting millions of people into the Americas, no. They were the ones who owned every slave ship. Google it. And when I'm saying something, don't take my word for it. I want you to do your own research and understand. You have to always get to the bottom of things to understand things. And goal and say, go for yes, who said they are imposters from Kaza. Into don't be bia dada a man for bia my who say they'll keep Africa down. On with me patch. So for instance, DRC near me ekoso ho nyina ya ntokwa bebrebe ye wi omo resources no. Do you know who is behind it? Yes, uncle for na. Sa Revelation 2:9 no omo na hyase. Number 1, Google Dan Getler. Gertler. Who is Dan Getler? On the chassis when it comes to omu resource and Dan Getler no or Revelation 2:9 na. So Ghana, we have to be very, very, very careful. Have you asked yourself, other than April 30th, the protests that went along all across Africa and some parts of the world, Caribbean, BBC has never covered it. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Sky, every Western media has never covered it. Because all the Western media was founded and created by this same Revelation 2:9. They own it. So they'll never, I know at the Papa Echo Ghana say the youth have risen up, say do not touch Ibrahim Traore. They will never cover that because they don't want the betterment of Africa. So when they see that places like Nigeria, which is the most populated black nation on earth, Brazil, which is the next populated black nation on earth, who say boni bebre koso sana because they don't want the betterment of Africa. In Nigeria, it will infiltrate to neighboring countries, it will infiltrate to South Africa, African drug addict. Resources. So me, when it comes to everything, I try to get to the bottom of it. There's a saying, always follow the money trail. DRC Dan Getler Always follow the money trail and you see who's behind it. Every terrorist group on earth, Nigeria, Afghanistan, 9/11, say, 9/11, guess what? I used to work in the towers. I missed my flight from London to US that day, so I wasn't there. But guess what? I lost all my co-workers. And for beyond Titi no say there was Muslim, there was Christian. Before, first of all, before Africa, now we didn't have that. We were all doing our spiritual things, worship our spiritual things. And then they became they became the Muslim, and we need yet at peace. And then all of a sudden, I feel they be a Muslim. I say me Muslim from Navobi baby, and I know what this Revelation 2:9 people are doing to paint them, to make them look bad. So their modus operandi is they create these terrorist group, right? As they did in Burkina, and try on my investigator me. Say so we've been having all these Fulani headsmen, the omudi bono mukunku nipa. Na ya frɛ France mbɛboa yɛn mo boa some mbɛboa yɛn still adeɛ no kwa na ɛkɔ so no mu sɛ oh saa wei mu na ɛyɛ saa adeɛ no ɔmo pam France pam saa kk all these terrorists out no what is said Burkina ɔmo nya saa asɛm ni bi. I mean, still, I'm sure they are the borders trying to get in from the Sahel to do bad, but Mali, Niger, and Burkina, now they know, say, adie, Sana Kofowe, they are being paid or they are being sponsored by the West meaning Revelation 2:9 no. You have to understand, Revelation 2:9 no, they are the top of the evil thing that goes around the world, and now almost controlling the government of US, UK, France. Sesia Oma nkuma yebetu nkuma nyina omo na hyase. Anytime you hear CIA, American CIA, right? Sa Revelation 2:9 na hyase. They are the same people. The reason why they got rid of JFK, which was the only last good president of America, was because na papa no ntwe mom. And so they got rid of him. Ever since then, President Bill be this to be omo na controlling, including Trump. Na Kamala ndo buy there and can you forget why I said why BB onye BB ni or Indian he calls himself black anyway in be controlling the world. And I know say most of black people or most people who voted for Trump before because of our LGBT God no money say Kamala ba Democrats no sa man they push it and sa LGBT nyama ni nyina sa nkofo ne hyase feminism o ne hyase. Wait till I open my YouTube page. I will give you all the facts. In the meantime, if you guys want to do your own research, YouTube is not the place to find it because they run those platforms and so they'll take your video down. Go to places like BitChute.com and Odyssey, ODYSEE.com, and just put in keywords in the search engine. Search it. There's an 11-hour video I urge everybody to watch it called Europa, EUROPA. More research it. Spend time to do some research or understand what I'm saying. Say, in Africa, Nyankopon bless you and papa bia. I say, West for no one person no. If you watch all these videos, do your own research, you figure it out. Media can say, Africa, for Africa to rise, any saboteur, any Judas Iscariot who stands in a way of liberation, we should take the person out, wipe their whole family out. Sankara Sankara's best friend. I think the story goes, and don't quote me on it, but the story goes, I forgot the guy's name, but no son. Either one or two of his parents died, and Sankara's father adopted him, kind of like only Sankara and a school near Maniema. So it became almost like brothers. But I do say, Omu said the West saw that Sankara was doing so many good things in Burkina. When they wanted to take him out, that's the person they used. Same with Patrice Lumumba in DRC. When they wanted to take him out, they used his best friend. Same with Nkrumah. When they wanted to take him out, Guess who was involved? It was a black man from America. I think his last name is Williams, who they sent down to do some stuff. Saa kwan fi Ghana in the 2 weeks Ghana, you overthrow Nkrumah. Say see on the course or chance here you two Nkrumah no, which is Kotoka no. The airport at no. So I didn't mean how somebody Kotoka. I mean, let me not even get into that stuff. So Nigeria, I don't understand why Nigerians are such cowards. The biggest cowards on planet Earth. And they were really exposed when 2024 the Kenyan youth rose up against Ruto. Oh no, who saw social media keyboard warriors. Even 30th April 2025 protests we did globally amongst all black people globally. Nigeria for you, but they are cowards. They are loud, ras, yet cowards. Ghana time ye doom so nyana even else they hit the streets. Nigeria can never do that. Two the Nigerian Libya too no catch on him. At the end of the day, you guys are the biggest cowards. Nankasa liberation Mali, Niger, Burkina, the whole black people across the globe. Obia, sorry, you Nigerian people should have been the people who do that. Because you are the most populated black nation. You do, then we follow. But because you are born-bred cowards, you couldn't do it. You have a 36-year-old Ibrahim Traore doing it. And now I say, shut up your mouth, please. If you're a Nigerian, don't even praise Ibrahim Traore. Concentrate on kicking your politicians out and creating a better Nigeria. Nigerian people have no mouth in saying anything good or bad about Ibrahim Traore. Because you guys are cowards, born-bred cowards. I'll say it today, I'll say it tomorrow. And when I start my YouTube page, I'll make a whole video about it. You're cowards, yet you are loud. You come into people's countries, South Africa, South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, and you're arrogant towards the citizens. And I'm Nigerian, I have PhD, I have masters. Now we look down on people. Come on, Ghana. Ghana must go. Ghana must go. All these years, you disrespected us. Thousands of people died in transit from Nigeria to Ghana. And the bag that you name after us, Ghana must go, you still use that name, Ghana must go. And no one also Ghana for who say, Nigerians do not respect Ghanaians, and Ghanaians should reciprocate. Ghana for Jimmy for don't go to Kotoa Airport, Namofa Ketengo Shiaomo, because who know movie moon to a celebrity. Where Jimmy? Whatever his name was, your birthday, when inviting more than 10 Nigerians, pay them $5,000 each. People you've never met to come embrace your birthday for bragging rights. And you made Bolare do that for you. Brought them all in. Richard Dominic, Ramsey Noah. You should have used it to fix Jamestown. You don't wait on politicians to fix Jamestown. You could have taken 1,000 kids from Jamestown and given them that money for scholarship in school. When I start my YouTube page, I'm going to call out any Ghanaian who kisses out to a Nigerian. I'll call them all out. Ghana said South Africa turn their kids into drug addicts, destroy their neighborhoods. Now there are places in I don't know where it's Durban or Cape Town where we are Nigerian you can't enter because Nigeria for no asarane ho say udu ho mekum. Can you imagine? And why are the South African politicians quiet? Because our drug dealing money no omuti bi omo omubi. And no also Ghana for also you need wine palmer Ghana where they will be lobbying our politicians. I think some of them already do already. Teach your kids about Nigerians, how to be very careful about them. Yes, they brag, they have doctors, they have scientists, they have that. Yes, you have all these learned people, but use your smartness for good and fix your fucking country instead of going to other neighboring countries to mess it up. Fix your nation, rise up in a revolution. For once in your life, your grandparents were cowards, your parents were cowards, and the cowardness have passed on to you. It's passed down like a recipe from generation to generation. You can't rise up against your politicians, fucking up your country, and you want to come to neighboring countries to mess it up. What but damn? No, say Igbo kino dear. Kashiem kodu. What do you chain? I double dare him to do that Igbo village. Biafra Hono. Why don't you go and do? But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the only freedom fighter God has blessed you Igbos with. Muna Musi says 60 million globally. Other than 60 million Igbos around the world, why don't you rally up like the Winnie Mandela did with Nelson Mandela after so many years, 27 years, was able to get Mandela out of prison. Why don't you Igbo do the same for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to get him out? One bread cowards. Most of them my shoulders so say I'm Nigerian, and a friend say always bragging. Small Ghana, common Ghana, Ghana must go. Disrespectful idiots. Very disrespectful. Everywhere you go, you are disrespectful to the citizens in that country. And you feel that you have the entitlement to live in those countries. You see how Burkina or Bre have been at the bottom of the rankings when it comes to poorest countries in the world. Burkina was always at the bottom. Once they say Ibrahim Traore buy, why you know, or Makuna ye. 10 years from now, you see the sense of entitlement from neighboring Nigeria wanting to go to Burkina, to feel they have the right to be in Burkina, to enjoy their free education and free healthcare and free housing. What's here for? Stupid Nigerians. Now, we are going to collaborate with the South Africans and we are going to make noise about you. I'm going to start a page, a blog, apart from the YouTube. I'm actually creating a website where every crime committed by a Nigerian globally, I'll put it on the website so the world can see. I'll name your name, I'll name your tribe. No, we are not going to the Ghana for TV networks. No, I don't know if the Igbo king has paid you. When they do bonnet, you guys don't want to cover it. There's power in social media and there's power on this little phone that we hold better than all your TV network that you don't want to cover. We are going to cover it. Ghana for Mema, Muma Mumuso. Ghana for Ma, Muma Mumuso. Teach your kids. Do not rent to these fools. Do not rent to them. Kick them out of your communities. They are disrespectful. Ghana for we are the most humble, most kindest, most gentle people in the world. But do not let these people take our leniency to be a weakness. Media Mekano, Rush. I look forward to joining the next broadcast that you have. And like I said, I'm launching my YouTube page in the next month or so. All right, bye-bye.
If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Stay safe. Peace out.